All right, let's get right into it. What we're seeing in 2025 is nothing short of a modern-day gold rush. But forget the picks and shovels. Today's tools are data streams. And the gold? Well, it's this absolutely massive wave of cash pouring into the global tech sector. So today, we're going to decode how the experts are tracking these billions as it all happens in real time.
I mean, it's a huge question, right? When money is moving that fast and we're talking about that kind of scale, how on earth do you even follow it? How do you find the real signals inside all that market noise? Well, let's break down exactly how it's done.
And just to give you a sense of the scale here, get this. In just one single week in August, over $500 million flooded into tech funds. That's not a trickle, folks. That is a torrent. And it just goes to show you how much confidence investors have in tech right now.
So, what's causing this massive surge? Well, at 9catnet, where the analysis is all anonymous, sourced, and fact-checked, we see two really powerful forces at play. First, you've got these incredible breakthroughs in AI. And second, you have consistently strong earnings reports coming from major tech companies. It's like the perfect storm for investment.
Now, to navigate a storm like that, you need a compass. And for analysts, one of the most powerful tools out there is Refinitiv Datastream. Seriously, think of it like a super high-tech GPS for financial markets. It lets them see exactly where the money's going with just incredible precision.
But how does a tool like this actually turn all that raw, chaotic market data into something clear? The secret is in something called datatypes. You can think of these as the basic building blocks, these specific little codes that sort and make sense of literally trillions of data points. And there are two main kinds you got to know about.
Okay, first up, you've got static data types. The absolute best way to think about these is like permanent address labels. They don't really change. They tell you exactly what a company is and where it fits in the grand scheme of things. Is it a software company? Is it in semiconductors, e-commerce? This is the first crucial step to sorting out the entire market.
And here's what those labels actually look like in practice. These codes, INDG or FTI3, they're not just random letters. They are super precise classifiers. With just one of these codes, an analyst can instantly pull up every single company in, say, the European semiconductor industry. That is organizational power on a massive scale.
Now, the second category is time series data types. So if the static types tell you what a company is, the time series types tell you how it's doing. It's like a financial heart rate monitor, constantly tracking the key numbers that show you a company's health over weeks, months, and even years.
And these are the vital signs it's tracking. Things like earnings per share, which tells you about profitability, or market value, which shows what the entire market thinks a company is worth. By watching these over time, analysts can spot trends, see who's growing, and figure out who's really winning the race.
So here's the crucial point. When you combine those static address labels with these dynamic heart rate monitors, something pretty incredible happens. You can see not just what the market is doing, but why it's doing it. You can pinpoint exactly where the money is moving and which specific companies are catching that wave.
And you can see this in action right now. Analysis from JP Morgan using exactly this kind of data shows a huge shift that's happening. For a long time, software was the big star. But now investor confidence and their money is moving pretty decisively over to semiconductors, the companies that are building the actual hardware for this whole AI revolution.
And this data lets us zoom right in on the specific winners. Just look at a company like Fabrinet, with a staggering 19% jump in its year-over-year revenue. Or how about Pure Storage, which is forecasting over 34% growth in its annual earnings? These aren't just good numbers, they're proof of companies that are perfectly positioned right now.
And this is really why it all matters. Because even inside a hot sector like tech, not everybody's a winner. Analysis from Morningstar points out that this kind of granular data lets smart investors see past the hype, spot these little shifts inside a sector, and find the real value. It's about being precise, not just, following the herd.
And that brings us to maybe the most important takeaway here. In today's economy, raw, high-quality, structured data isn't just a nice-to-have, it's everything. It is the difference between guessing and knowing. And it's why the whole ethos at 9chat is built on this idea that real data, when you discern it properly, is king. There's a quote from the Think Tank of ShadoVVision that just puts it perfectly. Data, all by itself, is just numbers on a screen. The real power, that comes from how you interpret it and how you use it to make decisions. That is the real game changer. And that interpretation of data, it is getting supercharged. By this year, 2025, nearly half of all major organizations are using artificial intelligence to do their financial analytics. That means the speed and the depth of the insights they're getting are just growing exponentially, which makes having high-quality data to start with more important than ever.
So what does all this power actually unlock for the banks, the fund managers, the investors? It's not just about picking winning stocks. It's about building these incredibly sophisticated, tailored strategies. It's about managing risk with pinpoint precision, detecting fraud, and basically having a real-time dashboard of the entire global economy.
So, if you walk away with just one thing from all this, let it be this. In 2025, every single smart financial decision, whether it's a small personal investment or a multi-billion-dollar corporate strategy, is built on a bedrock of high-quality, structured data. Tools like Datastream aren't just useful anymore. They are absolutely essential.
And that leaves us with a final thought. We started this whole thing looking for a compass to navigate the market. But in a future that's completely built on data, it seems like the real power doesn't belong to the people with the most money, but to the ones who hold the best compass.